Welcome everyone. My name is Jim Pamplin. My co-host and co-chair is Viju Katungo. Viju, turn on. Where are you, Viju?
Viju!
Dave Dinkel will be joining us a little bit later. So Viju, I'm going to turn it over to you in just a moment. Before I get started, I just have a little announcement. For those of you who haven't heard, our beloved Kevin Vincent passed away this last Saturday. And we'll be putting out more information tomorrow. But to many of you, Kevin was the voice of DREIA, especially on the phone and in being greeted at meetings for many, many years. He will be sorely missed. He was beloved by a lot of people, a good friend. In our group, he and Viju were the streetwise one, and Kevin and Viju have saved my bacon a number of times. And so we'll certainly miss him. So look for an email tomorrow where we'll tell you about the service and how you can contribute to the memorial book, because Kevin's children and sister would probably love to hear what you have to say about him. So sad news out of the way, but we did want you to know because so many of you love him. So tonight we have a really special treat. Dave has an announcement that we're going to get to, but before we're going to talk about the state of the market. But right now, Viju, I'd like for you to introduce our very important business members who are actually sponsoring tonight and bringing this meeting.
Hold on. I'm looking. Is Emmanuel here?
Emmanuel's there.
Hi. Hey, one of the most energetic mortgage broker you can find who can get stuff done. Emmanuel, take the first reign.
Well, I've been in the business since 1997, so I think I've pretty much seen it all at this point. I work at a company called Cornerstone First Mortgage, which basically we have the best of both worlds, where we are lenders, but we're also brokers at the same time. So we have no income verification, loans for investors, hard money, as well as obviously the regular, conventional and FHA. I asked Lourdes to join me. She's probably the one that says Emmanuel too. She's also at my office and she's been in the business for like 30 years too. So anything that you guys need, we're definitely here for you. I mean, Jim knows me forever. Dave knows me forever. So, I'm here for you guys.
Well, we want to welcome you because we do get calls for and need referrals to retail mortgages. So have you guys been busy with refis?
Actually, I would say 95% of my business is purchase. I haven't seen that many refis. I think that a lot of people either they already refied, but it's a buyer's market right now. I mean, people are offering $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over price, and that's just where it is. But it's mostly purchase right now.
Okay, so do us a favor and put your information in the chat, okay? And of course,
hold on one second, Emmanuel. Can you take a minute and just tell us what's going on with mortgages, what you're seeing out there, and how
Well, believe it or not, the money right now, where the most money is with the non-conforming loans, which is basically no income verification and investor loans and things like that. That's where I've seen, that the rates are like very aggressive. I mean, for investors and people that can verify income. But, it's honestly, I haven't been this busy since like 2005. Let's just put it that way. There's just buyers right now coming out of the woodworks. I think it's just the millennials that are starting to buy. Also, all the people that are moving to Florida, but the difference now, obviously before the market crash is that now people do need to qualify for the mortgages. Even no income verification loans, the rent of the property has to cover the mortgage payment. So there's some kind of, risk, factor when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, right now, like I said, it's just, there's just a lot of money out there, and they just want to lend it out. So.
Thank you. Becky, go for it.
Thank you, Viju. Hello, everyone. I'm Becky Kreminga with Real Estate IQ, and we are a provider of leads. So we have several different kinds of off-market leads, such as pre-foreclosure, list pendants, code violations, delinquent taxes, divorces, and more. We update our lists on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. So we're always going to have the freshest, most accurate data out there because we mine it ourselves directly from the courthouses. We don't buy it from any other source or anything like that. And so it's always updated, always fresh. You'll get the most recent leads. So I'll put my information in the chat. It's realestateiq.co is our website if you'd like to check it out. And I'll put my information in the chat because we do have a special free trial just for DREIA members. So send me a text or an email and I'll shoot you the information on that. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Vanessa, you want to go ahead?
Yes. Hi, guys. My name is Vanessa. I'm from Creative Title Services. We are a title company with more than 25 years experience serving the entire state of Florida. We're also investor friendly. We specialize in double closings, assignments, land trusts, short sales, tax deeds, and much more. If you guys have any questions, we're available for you 24/7 for all your real estate needs. You can go ahead and reach us at 305-476-8733, or you can email me at closer@creativetitle.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Can you just put your information in the chat, please?
Yes,
Becky,
I
remember
will.
to put your information also, please. Emmanuel. Let's see, Brian.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Martinez. I'm up in the Orlando area. I'm with New View Trust Company. You've probably heard of us, seen us at events when things were live. We do miss our live events, but we're a self-directed IRA custodian. And our main goal is to educate and teach people how they can purchase more real estate, do private lending, partner on deals, using things like self-directed IRA, traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, health savings accounts, education savings accounts. And if you're a self-employed individual, we have self-employed plans that allow for higher contributions, like a solo 401k plan and a SEP IRA. We do our workshops on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. If you're ever interested in joining us, I'll put my contact information in the email. We do pride ourselves on the education and the fact that you can buy more real estate and do more deals using IRAs.
Thank you, Brian. Bob?
Hi, guys. Bob Pepe, Flagler Insurance. I see so many deals that are refis. I see plenty of new business, but for every new piece of business, I got somebody that's refining 5 they own for cash. It's a giant, giant market out there right now. For me, we're back and we're running. We had a little bit of a hiccup with the silly storm, and I had a lot of people angry for a couple of days because I couldn't do anything. It was nice though, except for the storm. I got days off. I got to fish. I actually drove up to IKEA. I did some shopping, went out to lunch, but now I'm chained to my desk. I'll put my info in there. If you have any real estate things going on, I'm ready to help.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Viju.
Oscar.
Hey, Viju, how are you? And thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. My name is Oscar Echeverry. I'm a general contractor. The name of the company is Gaia GC Construction and Gaia Inspections. We do residential inspections, single family, multifamily, commercial, 40-year recertifications with our engineer. Special assessment for investors. If you want to know how much it's going to cost you to do a rehab project before closing on the property or before putting under contract, you can give us a call. We do insurance inspections starting at $100. As a general contractor, we offer services as, closing your open permits, help you through the process if you get caught working without permits, or if you didn't know that you need a permit for doing something and the city cite you for that, we can help you through that. Violation resolutions. And in case that you fire your old contractor and you want the new contractor to come in and finish the job, we can do that as well. So the information is on the DREIA website. You can call us at 954-882-2672 or visit us at GaiaGC.com. Thank you, Viju, one more time.
Thank you, Oscar. Jim, can you give me, can I share a screen? I have a video for REIA facts. Did I miss anybody?
Me?
Michael Clavin.
Oh, Michael.
It's been a while, Nish. How you been?
All right.
Yes, I am Michael Clavin. It is hurricane season. I am the owner of Adjuster Man Public Adjusters. We settle large loss insurance claims. We cover the entire state. We deal with property, commercial or residential, multifamily residential, homeowners associations, full campuses like that, even commercial condo buildings and office buildings and towers, things like this, for damage that results from losses like fire, theft, vandalism, escape of water, flooding, tornadoes, hurricanes, vehicle impacts, boats hitting rocks and semi-submerged debris and all manner of things. If it's big and it's insured and you have damage to it, call me, not your insurance company. I know how to establish the full scope and value of your loss and be your advocate, speak for you to explain that loss and everything that needs to go into that loss, for information to your insurance carrier to make sure that you get paid everything that you're owed under the terms and conditions of your policy. I'm Michael Clavin with Adjuster Man. When it's busted, we'll adjust it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Danny with DREIAFacts.com. DREIAFacts is a real estate information system where we offer you a diversity of potential deals in pre-foreclosures, for sale with equity, probates, tax delinquency, tired landlords, short sales, bank-owned properties, auctions, repairs for sale, and vacant properties. And last but not least, cash buyers and holders to create your very own buyer's list. DREIAFacts.com, the deal generator.
Dave, what's going on in your end of the world with the transactional funding across the U.S.? What are investors having trouble with? What are they getting?
All right, so again, I fund in 40 states, so I really get to see a lot. I'm going to say to you that I've never seen so many continuously large net profits. And I say large. 40,000 is a pretty good profit in the good old days. We're seeing, I just saw one on a short sale for $200,000 net. Yeah, and it's, you know, I talked to an investor in South Carolina, and he started whining at me about how he couldn't find any deals, but he has tons of buyers. So I said, what do you mean tons of buyers? He said, well, I'm connected into hedge funds and iBuyers. And one of them, he mentioned the name. He said, you know who these guys are? And I say, I've heard of them. And I'll explain to you guys how I've heard of them, along with the other iBuyers and hedge funds. And he said, they give me zip codes where they will buy anything. So if I can get it under contract, they will buy it. And what I'm seeing is these guys, and I say these guys, investors, a lot of investors are running out, putting properties under contract and flipping them to the hedge funds and the iBuyers. And one of those funds is in fact become a massive wholesaler. What they're doing is they're taking those properties, marking them up again. They're paying full retail, sometimes more than retail, marking them up again and selling them to small hedge funds. What are hedge funds? It's fairly simple to be able to go out in this market, make a presentation to guys with money and say to them, look, I can get you a good return on what you got. I'm going to do in real estate. Here's what I've done. I'm not going to say a bunch of them are failed investors, but in fact, that's what they are. But now they're using other people's money. So they get together between $1 and $10 million and they go out on a buying surge. And this particular iBuyer actually purchases stuff from other investors, us, and they resell them to the hedge funds. And I just had one where an investor put it under contract for 170. He wholesaled it to an investor that I funded for 210. That investor sold it for 255. And that fund flipped it for 300. And if you said to me, look on anything to see what the value of that property was, it's probably 210. So the first investor got a great deal. Second investor was, he got rid of it. And I want to go into what's happening with the iBuyers, because if you're dealing with hedge funds or iBuyers, you need to be aware up front. It's a big, look out. So the other thing that I'm seeing is, if you ask me where all the deals are coming from, I'm seeing a lot of partitioned estates. If you're doing probates and you don't understand partition estates, I have a book on my website I wrote. But if you don't understand it, that's where the bigger money is. I think I mentioned at the last meeting that one of the students came to me and said, what do I do? And I said, I'll do it with you, but I got to be on title. So we bought half of the estate, filed a partition motion to the court. And when we sell it, we'll get half of the proceeds after a bunch of things happen. But it's going to be a 400 or 500% return on what we paid for it. So the partitions can be wonderful, especially if there's a lot of conflict between the parties. And as I got into other states, I found out, for example, Georgia has 3 different types of partitions. We're very lucky in Florida in terms of a lot of things that we're able to do that other states you can't. The other thing I see is enormous profits in raw land. But don't go out and start buying lots. What you have to do is you have to find the buyers beforehand. And it's not hard to find them. Drive around the neighborhood and look for new construction. And those are the guys.
Hey, not to interrupt you, but I want to give a shout out. You mentioned 2 things, land and $40,000. And today we had a deal just as close as you could get to $40,000. I want to send a shout out to Gustavo Cruz. I'm sure he's in the audience. And Viju, I think you sold that like what, 4 times?
More like 10 times.
So he found a lot of land buyers, just not enough with enough cash. But Dave funded the deal, and it was just as smooth as ice once we got it done the last time. Sorry, Dave.
No, it's okay. I think it was 39,000 profit, wasn't it? Whatever.
Yeah, it was almost 40.
Yeah, close enough. We're not splitting hairs. Let's see the other place that I'm seeing them. I don't see many. Let me say this. I shouldn't say I don't see many. The process that we've been through in the mentoring program for years is to go to listed properties. Everybody says there's no deals on the MLS and blah, 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 blah. But in fact, we made a career out of getting listed properties off the MLS at below market value. Otherwise, we couldn't have resold them. But in the general consensus, what I see is it either goes like it's on fire and it's a rocket ship, or it doesn't sell. And you have to be wary about why it doesn't sell. I had a property in Georgia. Somebody called in today to ask me about what do I think. And they said that it was rezoned. It was worth $900,000 before they rezoned the 3 acres, and it had a garage on it. So they said, but you can't find it because the address starts with 00. There's a lot of addresses in the United States that start not with double zeros, they start with 10. So I put it in, I Googled it, 0, the address popped right up. So when she said it was a garage, it's actually like not to fix cars, although that's what they used it for. Got a dog barking here or somewhere. It was a 2-car garage where they worked on cars, and about the size of 2 small 8x10 sheds. So I said to her, as I looked at the history of what it traded for, 2 years ago, an investor bought it for $28,000. This year, he listed it for $75,000 and he couldn't sell it. So what did he do? He pulled it off the market and listed it for $229,000. Now, the agent's saying it's worth $900,000, so why couldn't you sell it for $75,000? And her story is, well, all I have to do is have it rezoned. And you know what happens here is you get caught up in some hype. Obviously the salesperson is doing a good job dangling the $900,000 in front of you. I said to her immediately, why doesn't somebody just go back and have it rezoned? Well, I'm not sure, but the agent said that you couldn't. So I looked at the satellite image of it, and it's 2 lots. One of them is clear, it's got trees on it, but the other one has the garage on it. And I said to her, by the way, what most people don't know about buying garages is that they can make the soil toxic. I happen to be involved in buying a 10-bay garage in Macon, Georgia, and it's taken almost a month and a half to do a stage 2 survey. In other words, what they do is they drill holes in the ground, find out which way the water is flowing, test for chemicals. And what they found is acetone and arsenic and zinc and all the things that would turn your hair gray in a couple of minutes in the soil. So what happens to that? When it becomes an issue and the state finds it, the guy that owns it is responsible for the cleanup. And if you've ever seen one of these cleanups, they dig them up, put everything in barrels. I think they ship it to Tennessee or someplace out there, bury it, and it costs like a fortune to do it. You've heard about these epic cleanups. So I said to her, look, go back and offer them $35,000 for the one lot where the garage is not, and then find a builder that'll go in there and build homes on it, because it's it's a half acre and a half. It's plenty of room. What I'm trying to say here to you is I see tons of what should be deals every day, but investors get so excited, they don't look into what's the rest of the story. What does the chain of title look like? And if you're going to get into this and you don't want to lose everything on your first deal, you better be careful. Now, I want to talk about the iBuyers for a minute. Today, I had two come in. This is an iBuyer, won't mention his name or their name. If you turn on TV, they're on there everywhere. I mean, just drum, let us buy your home for cash, close, and whatever, so on and so forth. It's not Mark Spain. It's an iBuyer. So what's the story with them? When I first started funding for iBuyers, probably 4 or 5 months ago, they did same-day double closings. So I had plenty of investors coming in. They put get a property under contract for 350, 450. Typically, they don't go over 450 or 500. And they would close later that day for whatever that markup was. Now, I did one video on it because a nice guy, naive, but a very nice guy, got his first property under contract, instantly sold it to an iBuyer. He calls me. His net profit on the deal is $56,000. And I said, you did good. Who's the buyer? He said, it's them. And I said, oh my God. Okay. Did you read the contract they gave you? Because they're not signing your contract. They signed theirs. He said, yeah. I said, okay. So I asked for the closing statements. I got the A to B. That's easy. That's where I'm sending in the money. And I kept asking for the B to C because I want to see them being paid back. And the attorney said to me on the day before the closing, I'm not going to give it to you until tomorrow. I've closed over 2,000 transactions with these guys. Even attorneys can lie. And I said, okay, send it to me tomorrow. So I got it tomorrow. So what happened to his $56,000 net profit? Somehow it shrank to $1,250. Now, what did they do? Well, they have an acquisition fee, and they have a number of other fees, including a buyer and seller commission and so on and so forth. And of course, what killed him was the rehab estimate. They never sent anybody to the house, but they had a rehab estimate of $28,000. So what does this mean? It means that if you're going to deal with an iBuyer, you have to use their contract. They're not going to put up a big deposit. And I guarantee you, shouldn't say that, I 99.9% of the time guarantee you, you're not going to closing at the same price you contracted for. Now, is this good business? Well, it's great business if you're on the other side and you get a discount before closing from the seller. But if you're the seller and you're trying to make a living off your profit spread, can pretty well go away very quickly. I had one 3 days ago, and it was supposed to close Friday last week. So the iBuyer came to him and sent him an extension and said, we can't close until Wednesday of next week. Okay, so he finally gets the B2C HUD. It's got an $884 profit out of what was a $60,000 profit. How do they do that? It's amazing, but they have it in the contract. If you read their contract, they list the fees that they're going to charge. And again, with him, they put up $1,000. And what they had done is they had already resold it. So what I'm saying to you is, look, I want to see you make money any way you can, as long as it's legal. But if you think the nirvana in our business is you get in touch with a hedge fund or an iBuyer, and it's going to be easy, you better be eyes wide open and get a backup buyer. The other thing that's changed dramatically with the iBuyers, and I'll mention this person's, this company's name, because I've been on Zillow's butt for years. 3 years ago, when they first started buying properties, because they're a public company, I would come to the meetings and I'd say, here's how much they lost for the quarter. And for the first year they were in the business, selling insurance and mortgages and, oh yeah, rehabbing the house and selling the house and all that, They lost an average of $52,000 on every house they acquired. That's not how you do business. One of the big reasons was instead of raising capital and having people put in money, they borrowed the money. So their interest costs were horrendous. So now what Zillow has is a policy where you have to be on title for 90 days before they'll buy it from you. So that virtually eliminates, in most cases, an investor that's going to wholesale a property to them. It used to be that the iBuyers would do an assignment of contract. They stopped that probably 6 months ago. Probably 3 or 4 months ago, they went to, well, we've decided that we want to not buy it. We're going to buy it, but not buy it for 3 days or 7 days, in some cases, 10 days. What does that mean for an investor? If you're trying to do deals with no money and you call me up and you say, Dave, I got this great deal. I got a $60,000 spread. But by the way, you have to close on Friday and I can't close it. They're not going to have it available until next Friday. No, nobody will do transactional funding unless they don't know what they're doing. Because if you put up 100% of the money on the A to B side and the B to C side doesn't close, what do you have? You now have a foreclosure in the horizon because the investor probably paid too much and the end buyer walks away, and it doesn't have to be an iBuyer. So I'm kind of warning you ahead of time. Now look, most of you are not going to be dealing with hedge funds and iBuyers, but I'm saying this to you in sort of a eyes wide open thing. There's somebody that's going to come out with a course, I'm sure, and he's going to say, I'm going to give you a list of 35, 50, or 100 hedge funds who are constant buyers. They will give you every zip code they're buying in, and they buy in different zip codes on a continuing basis. They alternate them, they add zip codes. They're aggressively buying deals. And again, what this large one that's on TV every day, every time I don't turn on TV much, but they're there. And they've turned into wholesalers. And they've turned into very aggressive wholesalers. So eyes wide open. So the market is doing great. The number of closings I'm having I've had more closings this year so far than in the prior 2 years combined. So the deals are there. And if you're cranking about, I can't find them, you're right, because you believe you can and you're listening to everybody else. What you have to do is work harder and smarter. That's what it comes down to. I have a particular person in Georgia, and he does 5 deals a week through me. I do the transactional funding for him. I don't know how many deals he's doing elsewhere, but these are the ones that he does same day double closing. And I said to him yesterday, how many people do you have in your organization? And he said, including myself, I have 4. Now, I published a book, the mentor students have it, but it talks about how to make $200,000 a month. And that person had 5 employees, including himself. So a lot of the guys you see on TV that are doing 100 houses a year can have up to 22 employees because they all do little segmented jobs. But if you take a niche and break it down into, hold on one second. Carlos, I'm doing a live webinar. I'll call you back. Sorry. He's coming to see me tomorrow, so I know it's probably on the road. I guess what I'm saying to you is this. If you're going to make this work, then you're going to have to work harder or smarter. And if you say to me, how much smarter can I work? I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what your literature looks like. I don't know how many pieces you're mailing, how many phone calls you're making. You know, we had with our students, we set up a call system and they made calls. And the purpose of the mentoring program was pretty straightforward. Learn how to talk to people. The fastest way to get deals is to pick up the phone and ask for them. That's what it comes down to. And of course, for us, we get 99% rejection. And the 1% of the time we don't get it, I'm extremely suspicious that something's wrong, and it usually is. So that's only the first shot across the bow to where we get the deals. One of the REIAs asked me to speak, and they said to me, where are you getting all your deals? And I said, well, there's only 2 ways to get them. They're either listed or they're unlisted, and that's it. And most of the investors go for the unlisted properties. And what they're doing is they're swarming over the people that are, in the house. When I sold a property in November, December of last year, and now we're in August, obviously, I still get phone calls, virtually 1 or 2 a week from agents calling to ask if the house was still for sale. I haven't been on title for, I don't know, 6 months or 7 months or something like that. What are they calling? I mean, what is the point of calling somebody that's sold? Finally, in the end of the conversation, he said, "Are you going to buy another house?" And, we said, "Yeah, we bought one 2 years ago. We're living in it," and so on. So what I see happening with especially new investors is they get caught up in I'm going to say hype because it is, on a YouTube video production that says, "Here's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything. You don't need money. Don't send in the earnest money deposit." Okay, you may get away with that for once or twice, but I see it happen way too often. I have people that call me up and say, "Can you fund this transaction?" "Yes, send me the A to B and B to C contract." "Well, I don't have the B to C, but I will." I say, "Okay, let me know." So what happens next is a listing agent will call me and say, "Hey, are you funding this?" And I say, "I'm a funding partner. I'm not a hard money lender. I come to closing with cash." They love that. So what happens next? I get a call and they say to me, "We're closing Friday." I say, "Really? I haven't seen any HUDs." "Well, we're closing. Are you sending the money?" "Well, how can I send money if I haven't seen a HUD?" I don't get into a second HUD. I just get into a HUD. What happens is the investor has a inspection period in which time they should sell it and then get out of the contract. But what the new investors are doing are simply walking away. They're not calling. It's sort of like you have an end buyer in place. As you get close to closing, you call and say, "I haven't heard from you," but he doesn't answer. And then you text him, he doesn't answer. And I'd say to students, if this is happening to you and you can't get in touch with him and you can't get another phone to try and trick him into answering, go and knock on his door, find out where he lives and find out what's going to happen. Because in our case, what we try and do is resell it before the closing, get an extension, do all sorts of things, because by that time, your money's hard, your escrow deposit is hard, so it's at risk. So
Dave, this is sort of like why we have developed the mentor program and the Fearless. And in fact, our buddy Gustavo was in the Fearless program, which we've now sort of combined the Fearless and mentoring into a new program. And I think that for people who want to avoid what you're just talking about, I'd like for you to kind of talk more about the program we've sort of put together.
Okay.
What a student means now.
One of the things that Jim and I talked a little while back about, we've had always 2 levels of students, so to speak. Ones who couldn't afford the mentoring program, and they started out in Fearless, and they did a deal, and they came into the mentoring program, worked pretty well, or they didn't do anything. And that happens in the mentoring program. We have people come in and they don't do anything. Why? There's only one reason: they quit. Because we're there to support you on what you need to change or how you need to say things. Make changes and work harder. The harder you work, the luckier you get. So recently, Jim said to me, "Are you thinking about retiring?" "I am." I said, "Well, if I retire, my brain's going to go to mush, so I'm not." And frankly, Jim said to me, "Are you thinking about continuing the mentor program?" And I said, "Why do you ask me that?" He said, "Because, man, it takes a lot of time." I said, "Well, it does, but look at our success ratio." So he said, "Is there something we can put together that would be more self-pathed? In other words, if they followed smaller steps, they wouldn't be on us except to show us the deals, and we could, do things with the deals and so on." And I said, "I've been thinking about this for a long time." I actually started a year ago on trying to put together a program with I'm going to say, the interesting parts of the mentoring program, and essentially sort of a new approach to get more deals. Now, that's what I did. And I've been fooling with it and fooling with it. And I've had, life gets in the road, and it has. And Nan, we haven't mentioned this about Nan, but Nan's got a serious issue. Anyway, so what I did is I put together, I had a product that I called Power Wholesaling, and it was like an upgrade from Fearless. And then I put the Power Wholesaling together with the coaching program and the mentoring program, and I came up with Power Wholesaling Premier Edition. And it's a name, and that's what it is. But what it is a lot of stuff that I never put out either for the mentoring students or for any Fearless or Power Wholesaling student. And Power Wholesaling was pretty much out of the state of Florida. So what I did is I decided I'm going to really do this thing and do it once and for all, because I tend to be compulsive, excessive about getting things done. So if I see something, I'll go back and look at it. And sometimes I'll say to myself, man, that was really good. I don't even remember writing that. I did a wonderful job. And other times I'll say things have changed. I left some things out and I redo it. That's not the traditional method that gurus do on a national basis. They have somebody else write the programs. And what they do is spend all their time marketing it. And frankly, they make god awful amounts of money. And one of whom went through our program. Now he came to me and said, I want to be a national speaker. And I said, go up there and start talking. And his net worth is over $110 million. And he hasn't done a house in 7 or 8 years. So there's money in them dark horses. But as I said to everybody, you got to be careful. If you're spending $40, $50, $100,000 on a course, can it really be worth it? And the Mathis brothers are a good example. They spent $50,000 on a course and never had a chance of doing a deal. And they didn't even realize it. And they came into our program and they've been extraordinarily successful. So, and they're in our videos. You can see them do that. So what I did is I put together a little video, which I'll play for you, that talks about what is it, importantly, what does it cost? One of the things that I wanted to do is for the first time, do a payment plan. Because look, we've had a lot of people say to us in the mentoring program, do you have a payment program? And frankly, I gave scholarships and I gave payment programs in the past. And what happened? Those students became very successful and they never paid us. And talk about ungrateful. And it was my fault. I listened to their story, great salespeople, nice people. And I said to Jim and Viju and Nan, I want them to take it. I know they can do it. I was right. I knew they could do it, but damn it, they never paid us. So what do? Well, I didn't do that once. I did it 3 times, and 3 times was a charm. I said no more. And I have to say to you that if bad apple or apples ruins the barrel, there's some really nice people out there that could not afford the program that could change their lives, and they couldn't because they just couldn't get it together. So I don't want to whine on the soapbox here, but real estate is a renewable resource. And every given day, people go into a crisis situation. And you can imagine what's happening with COVID. People are going to lose their homes. And it's unbelievable. And it's a tsunami of stuff coming. Our job is not to steal homes from people. Our job is to solve problems. And if you don't solve the problem, somebody else is. Likelihood is they're not going to pay them as much as they would you. I did a tax deed sale. And what happened is I sent the student out there to get the contract signed. She got it signed. She called me up and said, there's another guy here, and an attorney sent him out to sign their contract to buy it. That attorney offered her $5,000 over what taxes were due. Taxes were $9,600. We offered her, without knowing that, $35,000. So who do you think she's going to sign with? Signed with us. So we went ahead because we had a signed contract. The attorney had paid the taxes. That wasn't good, but he pulled back his wire. So I paid the taxes, and she sold that for $125,000. Now, did the attorney do better by offering less? Well, you would have gotten a better profit, but that's what some attorneys do. They're investors. They make more money investing than they really do in closings or chasing ambulances or whatever their field is. Look, guys, I firmly believe that anyone can be a real estate investor. And as I talk to people nationwide, I see people. IQ has nothing to do with being a successful investor. Your ability to speak English has very little to do with being a good investor. What it takes is tenaciousness and not taking no for an answer. The investors that I speak to that just give up, and they say to me, I call every realtor and I called this and I called that, and they all said no. Yeah, they should. If your offer was too low, they should have said no. But if they said yes, I have a big suspicion going on here. Why in the hell did they do that? And what we find out is there's break in the chain of title. An investor has come to you. I just had one yesterday in Georgia. He says it's a probate. And we got the attorney on the phone to talk about doing the partition. So the attorney's sitting in front of the public record. He's got public record on the screen. And he says, you know, Joe and Jean and John are the relatives. Who is this guy, Greg? Well, Greg happens to be an investor that got a contract on John's part of the estate, and he's reselling that contract. The problem with that, the guy that came to me doesn't understand contracts has no value because they may not be designated beneficiaries by the court. So I'm saying this to you, what seems to be simple, especially when you look at YouTube videos and they say this is what happens, is very, very misleading. And if you get into a program, any one of ours, either the mentoring program, which is by application and invitation only, or you get into the power wholesaling program, all you have to do is save one deal or get one deal to begin with, and you pay for it many times over. So that's the way you should look at the program as, what is the real cost? Jim, you started to say something?
Yeah, let's see it, Dave. I want to see it. I've seen the video once, but I want to see it again.
Okay, I'm keeping everybody in suspense here.
I know you are.
Guys, I love you. Here we go. Let's see how we can do this. See that?
Perfect.
Okay, so what you're not seeing is the sound, correct?
Yes, we're missing the sound.
So I have to figure
Your typing is splendid, by the way.
hang on one second. I had this problem once before.
I'm Dave Dinkle, and I want to take you through a brief overview of the Power Wholesaling Premier Edition. I've been told it's the combination.
It was playing, Dave.
It's playing, Dave.
Oh, you can hear it?
Yeah, we heard it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
The miracles of
Most
electronics.
powerful mentoring and coaching programs in the real
Turn it up.
estate industry. I got a call
Turn it
from
up.
Jerry, not his real name, about a week ago,
That's not
asking
sharing
how to
properly.
do deals with no money. He went on to explain that he worked for a successful investor for over 10 years, and last week his check was $900 net. After paying his bills, he had $100 remaining. He does the investors' rehabs, shows properties to buyers, and negotiates the sale prices. In his own words, I do it all. He called me to see about funding for himself if he could get a deal. He admitted that despite his experience, he was afraid to make a move. He explained he has a young son whom he wanted to have a real future, not what he had been through. But the fear of the unknown had kept him in his job, just above broke job, all these years. Maybe you're feeling the same way, especially if you want to be the master.
Is it loud enough, guys? Jim, can you hear me?
Can you turn it up a little more, Dave?
Destiny. Oh my. I've been an investor for over 46 years through 3 major up and down markets. I love helping people become all they can be as real estate investors. In 2006, we sold the
Can you turn
properties
it up a
we
little
owned,
more?
stopped investing in real estate, and in
Oh, I have to
2008,
share
we
it.
asked to purchase a failing REIA. I didn't want to own the club, but I did come on board and brought it back to the largest and most successful REIA in the Southeast at that time. The thing that I did was to offer real value at meetings instead of salesmen selling their books and tapes. This revolutionary educational format was extraordinarily successful, and it's what I still love to do every chance I get. My personal quest is to help people change their lives forever by becoming successful real estate wholesalers, rehabbers, and landlords. How's that work for us? The testimony to our success is in the number of successful students that not only make fabulous livings, but also have gone on to become gurus in their own right. These successful students have changed their lives forever and will always have that spirit to strive to be successful and be leaders in their communities. Each will leave his or her own legacy, and there's no reason you can't. But let's take a moment and discuss the ones who were not successful in becoming all they can be. What happened to them? Instead of failing forward as successful investors do, they quit. I've said it many times. I truly believe that anyone who wants to be a successful investor can be one. If that's true, then why did some people quit? Each case is individual, but in general, they stopped doing what needed to be done because it wasn't working for them. Frankly, the same obstacles and roadblocks that they encountered were the same ones the successful investors faced. The only difference was the outcome. But what really happened? The investors who quit had life get in the road and did not persist long enough until they succeeded. Often they would stop and start over and over again, but not do the things that needed to be done every day. They may have had unrealistic expectations of how soon they could do a deal, but they're not alone. Too many investors fail to achieve their dreams. Since I literally work with students and investors every day, I get to see what works and what doesn't. I've always strived to stuff our programs with more than enough information and instructions to give the user what he needs to be successful. In addition, we've always been available to students whenever they needed us. This alone is priceless when you factor in our years of personal investing experience. Working with investors has given me a unique perspective on what works, what doesn't, and how to stay in the game till you win. As I love to do, I'm always striving to provide new and experienced investors with a path to success that they only need to follow, stay on it, and don't ever give up. What are the problems investors are facing? Too many investors doing the same things at the same time. There is a finite number of potential motivated sellers available. Now the actual number is in the tens of thousands, but a lot of investors come into niche markets and bombard them with the same information that other people are using. The reality is they just don't last in the business, but it seems to be a whirlwind of information all at the same time going at what should be motivated sellers. We'll show you how to overcome that. Too few motivated sellers, too many investors. Well, there's actually tons of motivated sellers. The issue is, are the motivated sellers ready to work with you when you need to work with them? Critical to the situations that we face, and we show you how to overcome it. Inadequate and conflicting educational materials. It seems like everybody is selling a course, most oftentimes on a specific niche, when in fact all of this information is what you need and readily available to you when you start getting into marketing to truly motivated sellers. Belief that a new investor has to know everything before he starts. I've been an investor for over 46 years, and I can tell you that every day is a new day in terms of learning something. If you wait to know everything, you delay getting started and ultimately just won't do it. We can help you. Our information is focused on getting deals as quickly as possible. The inability to overcome the fear of the unknown. There's actually 28 major fears that investors face. I take these head on and give you solutions to every one of them. In this case, the fear of the unknown is somewhat realistic, but it's easily faced by asking us directly, what do I do and how do I do it? Will help you overcome them. Overcoming the hype to sell specific niche investing methods, what I call bright shiny objects, that make the gurus rich and the investors broke. Over-reliance on YouTube gurus giving partial and sometimes misleading information. The high cost of one-on-one coaching and mentoring from $18,000 to over $100,000 a year. I've addressed these specific roadblocks in our Power Wholesaling program. In addition, I have over 400 videos on YouTube with the sole intent of helping investors get through the myriad of problems they encounter in their day-to-day struggles. Many of these videos are live interviews with students talking about their deals and how they found and closed each one of them. Many more show actual closing statements from students and investors who made great profits on their wholesale transactions. Making great profits is a skill that we stress because signing contracts can't sustain the profit margins you'll need to make a serious living. The program is divided into two main parts. Part 1 are in-depth trainings to bring you through the 4 most important levels of investing. Getting started, a 30-day challenge, niche markets, and scaling your business. Part 2, when you need help, you'll have it. Weekly coaching calls, including frequently asked question webinars and online questions privately answered just for you and your deal. funding for your deals. What's the reason for the two-part program? Part 1 covers all the aspects of understanding the most successful forms of real estate investing and presents a path to use stacked filters to find what should be the most motivated sellers. Then you're armed with what to say and when to say it with scripts that produce the best closing results. These scripts alone are worth the price of the program. What most new investors don't realize is there is always an expanding number of potential prospects who need your help. What we provide is specialized and targeted marketing methods that will work for you and, more importantly, work quickly. So let's look closer at some of the content in part 1. Here's sections 1 through 4. Let's look at getting started. Opening next section, you can see we have 6 modules. Start here, 5 types of wholesaling, 8 steps of wholesaling, getting deals, toolbox, and bonuses. When I open start here, you can see that we have steps: introduction, in depth, how to use the materials, crush your biggest obstacles. Number 5, must get these done as soon as possible. Time management, should you become a realtor or not, truths to live by. Do not let this happen to you, and this could be you. Now, I picked on this one because I want you to see a breakdown on each one of these categories. Step 5, must get these done as soon as possible. Creating an entity, earnest money deposits. I go into depth on the earnest money deposits of various ways, so you don't have to put up an earnest money deposit if you don't have the money. Can't do it all the time, but it's there for you. Proof of funds, letter of credit, skip tracing, CRMs, customer relationship management softwares, contracts. In the contracts, I have 2 very specific purchase and sale contracts that are extraordinarily onerous in the favor of the investor. No one in our system has seen them, including any of the mentor programs. This is the first time. These are to replace the guru 1 or 2 pagers that can ultimately cost you deals. Data consolidator, autoresponder, wrap it up. Why are these important? Because most people go into real estate investing without realizing this is the core of what you need to do to get deals and do deals consistently. In the 5 types of wholesaling, I cover traditional, wholesale to wholesaler, sometimes called co-wholesaling, multifamilies, recycling wholesale deals, black hat wholesaling, and there is a number 6, but I don't show it to you in this part. You're going to find it in the scaling section. 8 steps of wholesaling, critically important. I put these together because a lot of new investors say, I just can't wrap my head around all of those steps. Here they are. Find sellers, evaluate the property, make the offer, whatever the seller response is, yes or no, follow up, find buyers, advertise it's going to be sold or unsold, and go to closing. Now, I'm not going to open up each one of these steps because inside them can be anywhere from 1 to 6 or 8 steps. The goal here is when you open one up, you go through the first, second, third in numerical order as you're supposed to, so you have a growing knowledge of exactly where you should be and steps to take to start getting you deals. Under the Getting Deals section, these are typically the ones that have the highest profits and are the quickest to get. Driving for dollars, probates, tax deed, pre-sales, pre-foreclosure, short sales, REOs. I give you over 180 ways to find motivated sellers. You look online, you'll see guys coming up with 20, 30, 40, maybe 50. Here's more than 180. Last module says chart your metrics. You need to know how well you're doing. You may feel like you're not doing well, and you actually, in fact, are doing better than you know. We're there to help you. The toolbox, not even going to open it for you. It's loaded with tons of stuff that you'll need when you need them. And the bonus, the first one is finding unlimited private money. The first time one of my students used this, he raised $10 million in one sitting. He's going on to become extraordinarily successful and an 8-figure net worth using this program to raise the seed capital he needed to do his rehabbing business. But what about part 2? The ultimate key to accelerating an investor's success is having support when it's needed. The very expensive courses offered technical support from nice guys and gals who have unfortunately been unsuccessful in their own investing. This part of the program is by far worth much more than all the content in part 1, because when you have a problem or a roadblock or something's thrown up in front of you, you have us to help you through it. After all, what is over 100 years of trench warfare worth to you? What is it worth to have someone there when you need them and you're about to lose a deal? Frankly, when you find out the hard way, you'll realize it's priceless. But let's look at what you get in part 2 of the program. The program is designed to be 4 consecutive months delivery of content, support, and focus on you getting deals. You'll have to do the lifting, the work, but we're there to support you. You'll have either 16 or 24 weeks coaching calls that answer your questions in addition to daily email support. Whenever you start, within a week to 10 days, you will have access to week 1 frequently asked question webinar and subsequent weeks in their relevant order. You will have your questions answered so you can learn at your personalized pace, not having to be pushed aside by other know-it-all students in a Facebook group specifically designed to not answer what you need when you need it. We focus on your personal needs to get you in the game as quickly as possible. The commitment you make to yourself will result in your success or failure. Besides the one-on-one support, you'll get the funding you need to do your deals. We'll disclose how to get more deals without funds and sometimes even without an earnest money deposit. Show you how to build your buyers list at warp speed and with buyers who actually purchase deals, not just looky-loos. You'll get contracting that has never been seen even by our mentor students. I put it together to overcome the inherent handicaps of homemade guru contracts that cause investors too many lost deals. I've even included bonuses that can make the difference in the speed of your success and are the course of your career. How about a bonus showing you the actual game plan of how to make $200,000 a month in real estate investing? Let me take a moment and answer some frequently asked questions. Is it actually and legally possible to do deals with no money? Yes to both. We provide the funding you need for your wholesale double closings and possibly your rehab deals. How long does the program last? Well, you have two options, 4 months and 6 months, and you'll always have the ability to extend your personal support on a month-to-month basis at a nominal extra fee. Can I work the program part-time? Once you have the materials, you can take the time you need to get started and continue on. If this exceeds your chosen time period, you have the option to extend. Do you give refunds? The answer is no. And if you're concerned that you won't be successful, you will be correct. Do you guarantee that I'll make money wholesaling? I'd like to say yes, but my experience is that everyone learns and works at different levels, and your personal commitment is what will make it work for you. If you're simply looking for fast and easy money, this is not for you. You'll work hard to make what you earn, but you will become the master of your destiny instead of your possibly ungrateful boss. You're probably already working hard, making other people rich, so why not you? How do I know there's enough information to make me successful? Lesser information amounts have made my students very successful, so why not you? If you have something you don't find in the materials, that's what your one-on-one personal support is all about. Just ask. That vital information when you need it is what your support person is there to do. I've just given you a very brief overview of what will be in the program and what support you can expect. The other roadblock for many new investors is the entrance cost. Yes, you can watch YouTube videos for free, but these guys won't be there when you get stuck, and especially when you have a closing and you need help. They don't fund deals except to make you give up half of your profits. As importantly as your materials and support, for the first time ever, we are offering a payment program. This affordable option allows many more people the opportunity to become all they have dreamed about and more. Now you have a chance to join the team that has taught so many successful students, as well as local and national gurus. What are the payment options? First, you have either a full investment or a payment plan. What you're getting is a weekly Q&A webinar for 6 months with a full investment, 4 months with a payment plan. Personal support by direct email access, again, 6 months full payment, 4 months for the payment program. Funding wholesale deals. For the full investment option, we provide 100% at a special discounted rate. In the payment plan, we offer 100% at the lowest rate in the industry. That's 1% of the amount funded plus a $50 wire fee. Finding hard money loans. We may do these directly with our own funds, or we may refer you to a hard money lender. Same in both programs. The course material. Both options give you full access to the 4 segments, each delivered monthly. Bonuses. Both payment options give you complete series of all the bonuses for each section. The full investment option is $3,995. The payment plan option is $1,700 initially, plus 3 payments of $765 each. The asterisk indicates that your state must be on our approved list to qualify for the transactional funding. If it is not, we will refer you to someone else that will do it for you. Still not certain? If affordability is an issue, think about friends and family members to support your career change. Instead of paying tens of thousands of dollars for a formal education, try investing where you can earn while you learn. You can also take on a partner who pays for the program to get you started. Look to friends, family members, spouses, brothers, sisters, grandfathers, anyone who trusts you that you have the ability to be all you can be if you have the guidance and support that we offer. When you put it on a credit card, you should pay it off as soon as you get your first deal done. If you're concerned about whether you can actually learn and do the steps needed to make it a career, just watch the videos of my interviews with my students and listen to their stories. One common thread in these conversations is that they didn't believe it would work, but it did. Remember, what you learn will stay with you forever and can be used over and over again and again. We made a very critical and tactical decision. You'll be receiving the program in 4 parts, the same ones as the sections I mentioned previously. The reason is simple, and it's in your best interest. This time delivery allows you to build on the foundation that has made our students so successful. It discourages you from stinking thinking ideas that are often preconceived from previous investing or watching too many YouTube videos. I would wholeheartedly suggest that before you spend money on any other program, that you try ours first. It'll save you tons of time, money, and you'll likely be more successful. If you're ready to change your life forever and get the best possible opportunity of becoming a successful real estate investor, now's your chance. All you have to do is go to the link below this video and sign up. If you have hesitations or reservations, this is normal. And this hollow fear is the same one that has kept millions of people in their JOBs, just over broke situations, for their entire working life. You can also use this program in a part-time mode, as you'll always have the information available to you, including the weekly Q&A webinars. I always suggest that new investors complete 5 wholesale deals before you fire your boss. Remember, you alone are responsible for your destiny because of the choices you make. Now's the time to make one choice that can change your life forever and give you whatever you want from life. What is it you want from life? Only you know the answer to that question, and now you have an opportunity to start working on what you want and all you can be. To reiterate, Power Wholesaling Premier Edition is the merging of the 2 most successful mentoring and coaching programs in the industry, and you can get access to it all. Get on board now so you can break away from whatever is keeping you from being all you can be and start creating a legacy of your own. Just go to the link below on this page and pick the payment option that best fits you. In summary, you get more than enough information to make you a successful investor, and even more importantly, you get the support you need to go with it. Click the link below and get started on changing your life forever. I'm Dave Dinkle. I wish you limitless success in all that you do.
There you go.
Okay. So I just want to be sure that there's no questions about the new program. If you have any questions, ask Dave now. Viju will make sure that the questions get answered. What's on the screen is about next month. If you recall, Dave did a recent email that was a lot of fun. I can't believe this just happened. So on September 15th, we're going to give all of our business members and investors a chance to share crazy things that happened, from what happened when you opened the door to you can't believe you got the deal. Good things that we can all learn from. I think we learn more from the unexpected, good or bad. So I hope you'll join us and even participate if you can. BG, you have a question? Okay, Dave, we have a question.
Yes.
Does the new programming differ significantly from the previous training?
Okay, the significant difference in part 1 is noticeable, but part 2 of it, the 30-day challenge, is exactly what it sounds like. I want you to try and do a deal. If you're full-time and you've been working for weeks or months, or in some cases a lot of months, and you haven't gotten the deal, there's a reason. And I try and diagnose that reason for you by giving you a day-to-day, hour by hour, and all the scripts and everything you need to do it. And it combines the most frequently large profit. I showed you some of those, like probates and driving for dollars and stuff like that. I put this together for a reason. Excuse me. I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos, but every once in a while I see something pop up and it says, get your first wholesale deal in 14 days. And I say to myself, gee, wonder what lifestyle this guy's living or something. And he's driving a Maserati or something. And, you know, he says, all you have to do is call 1,000 people. Okay. Another guy said, all you have to do is drop 10,000 pieces of mail. Do you know what 10,000 pieces of mail cost? Probably $10,000. And what if you don't get a deal? So the idea here is to come in with a very, very limited advertising budget, or preferably none at all. But I want to get you into a routine from day one of what you have to do. If you remember, I mentioned back a couple months ago, I read a book called Atomic Habits. It's probably been 4 months ago. And it truly changed my lifestyle. I went from, you know, I'd get up when I needed to get up, whenever I felt like getting up in the morning. You know, for some guys, 8:30, 9 o'clock sounds late. Didn't have to be for me, because typically I don't stop working until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. But I set my habit on 6:30. And now I get up whether I want to or not. Part of it, small changes make giant differences. So what I'm trying to do is get you into, and one of the things that I ask you to do is make sure you listen to it. This is what it looks like. Now, it comes in a real nice cover. My daughter asked me for it, and I gave it to her, and she has 2 Malinois, and one of them made the cover. But it's Atomic Habits by James Clear. Those are little things, but they're giant things in the overall picture. So the second part, 30-day challenge. Why don't I just give you the 30-day challenge up front? Because you're not ready. I'm telling you, if you're already doing deals, you're not ready. I want you to get into a routine of, here's what I have to do. Remember I said to you in the video that here's the things you need to get started? In the mentoring program, we provide those to you. Here, we provide the access to them. We tell you where to get them, and you go and get them. So in that part 5, you don't go beyond that until you get those steps done. Once you get those steps done, which could take you a day, it could take you 3 days or a week, you need to get them done. But this all builds on itself. When you go to school, you don't take algebra to begin with and then take, you know, add 1 and 1 and 2 and 2 and stuff like that. You start out with 1 and 1 and 2 and 2, and then you build algebra and you go beyond that. I need you to do that if you're going to do this right. I want you to be successful. And the way you're going to be successful is to stick to the path that we set up for you. The third part of this is the niches. What I want to get you into, I want to keep you away from buying a bunch of bright, shiny objects. For example, lease options. I get this all the time. A new investor calls up and he says, I watched this guy and I want to do lease options. Can you do transactional funding? There's no transactional funding in lease options. How much money can you make? Well, if you have 500 of them, you're probably making a pretty good income. But you know what it takes to get 500 of them? 35 years. And if you can do a lease option and make 500 a month, you can make $35,000 at the closing table. So they are good in certain states like Ohio and maybe Texas, where you have low value of properties. Look, these guys are great salesmen. I'm not going to tell you they're not, because people are signing up for these things all the time. Anyway, the fourth part, scale your business, is very simply, everybody has a dream of letting the business work for them. What I see in reality is the guys that do that lose the business. And I have a number of extraordinarily successful students earn 7-figure numbers gross, not net. And I have very successful students that earn 7-figure numbers net that don't have but 1, 2, or 3 employees instead of 10, 15, or 20. In one case, there was a guy on a YouTube video, I did 110 deals, and they said to him, how many employees you got? And he said, I got 22. That's like, oh, great. How much money are you actually making? At any rate, Jim, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you covered it. And I want to thank you for talking about lease options. I get so tired of hearing about that. But there are definitely 4 deliveries with Power Wholesaling. And that is the materials. Then the next delivery is the 30-day challenge. The next delivery is the niches. And the final delivery is scaling your business. revolutionary way to do this. And if you'll work through it with Dave and work through it with us, I think you'll get somewhere. Dave, did you see in
Hold
the
on. Jim,
chat? Yeah.
and then you didn't mention the live training.
Well, that's right. If you get REIA which is not required, but if you get REIA to use offers with, you come into the office and you get live training. If you don't want to do that, we'll do it on Zoom. It's very important to learn how to make the offers. And with what Dave does and what I can teach you and what REIA offers, we can get you making offers in nothing flat. And one of the keys to the success of all of our students, including Nick Paris, who chimed in just a moment ago, he said, Dave, thank you. I couldn't be happier. My wife, Christy, and I joined the program. Nick is on fire, but Nick works full time and Nick makes offers. So that's a key ingredient here. Viju's absolutely right. You won't get anywhere if you don't make offers and you get live offer making training. Right, Dave?
Yeah, and I want to answer a question that some people have in their own minds, I'm sure. Is it possible to do a deal in 30 days? And the answer is we've had students do it in 5 days. And one of the things that I've done in preparation for putting the course out is looked at guys that are doing deals consistently, literally on a day-to-day basis to set it up for how do they do that? And what's repetitious that we can copy, frankly. Look, there is no novel idea anymore in the world, I don't think, and nobody has a monopoly on ideas. I know what works, but if I said to you coming in, here's what you got to do, you'd say to me, I don't even know what a lot is, much less a real estate thing. I don't know what to do. So I've got to take you from ground zero. And again, here's one of the things. It's going to require that you make phone calls, talk to people. You need to learn how to do that, but it's transferable to other people. So when I talk about scaling your business, you can't scale it unless you know how to do things. Otherwise, other people will tell you they know. I had a very good example. One of our most successful students who lives in Polk County, and I hope he's watching, great guy, came to me and he said, I'm not getting the deals out of my VA. And he's got a great tonal quality on the phone and, you know, really a good, I hate to say salesman, but hey, that's what they are. Is that what you're doing? Trying to sell people into selling your house to them. So I said to him, well, have him record it and let me hear what he's saying. And he came back and said, what do you think? And I said, it was terrible. He said, yeah, that's what my wife said. And I said, here's what he's got to change. Well, that was probably 2 years ago. And that guy changed. Now, he said to the student, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for a long time. Well, he's been doing it wrong for a long time. Just doing it a long time doesn't mean it's right. And bam, that student is doing extraordinarily well. I mean, we're talking 7 figures, so you understand, in a rural area in Florida. So it can be done. You just have to have help. Adjust.
That was John's high school buddy, right?
No, no. I'm not going to talk about John's high school buddy. For you guys to know John Aaron, it seems like everybody in the state went to high school with him. They call all the time and say, I went to high school with him. I can't believe it. Believe it, but you know, it takes work. John works extremely hard and he's rewarded for it. So, all right, any other questions, guys?
I don't see any. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Jim Santiago, Jim, listen to me. Are you awake there? I want you to participate next month, and I can't believe this happened. Jim is a title agent, so I want to see, I want to hear his stories too. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. And Dave, I need you to bring a couple more.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what's interesting. Anyone that's been in the business for more than 2 years could write a book on you can't believe it, especially if you're landlords and you hear these excuses about why I can't pay my rent. It's unbelievable, but it's true. And it's just like a warm up for get ready when you hear this because something else is coming. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys staying this long. I really do.
We really do appreciate it. And Viju, I needed to get your buddy Thadrin to talk next month about how he can't believe what happened. So to all a good night. I want to welcome you to DREIA.com/power. Have a look at it and join us next month for I Can't Believe This Just Happened. Cheers.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Viju.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.